go. Last walk on the grounds for now. All right, here we go. Good evening, friends. I am Matt Shorty Wells. If you're watching this, you probably already know that. But then again, I'm going to tag this with some Rythmia and probably Ayahuasca stuff as well. So I'm probably talking to a bunch of strangers here as well. I am home from Rythmia. I woke up at Rythmia this morning, Sunday, August 1st, 2021. I could do it now, but it would be so much better if I did it later. I could do it now, but it would be so much better if I waited and did it later. The problem is, it never gets done. I think I've been under my roof now for about 2 hours. I got in 9 something here. My mom picked me up from the airport. Today is her birthday. We went and had dinner at a steak restaurant where I had chicken, broccoli, and water. No weed, no alcohol, no wine, no alcohol at all. And I'm done with cigarettes, but I'll touch on that. Well, I'm done with cigarettes. There's nothing else to say. I had 2 cigarettes the Monday morning that I woke up at Rythmia. I got in Sunday. I woke up Monday with 2 cigarettes in my pack. I went there intentionally with not enough cigarettes. Yeah, I'm done. Anyway, so I'm going to share some thoughts. So I'm back from Rythmia. How was it? That's the question. A lot of people in my world are asking and, want to know. So I'm going to make a video here. For several reasons, journaling purposes, also just to answer that question. But before we get into any of that, we're going to do 2 songs. And before we do 2 songs, if you don't want to hear the song, fast forward until there's no songs if you just want the commentary. But if you are a Rythmia alumni, especially, I'm sure the playlist changes often, but if you are of the group 230, what? 230 in the house? Let me hear you. Group 230. You will not be fast forwarding. You will be dancing along with me. So we're gonna do 2 songs, and then we're gonna play. Then we're gonna add some notes.
I hear the voice of my grandmother's calling me. I hear the voice of my grandmother's song. She says, standing, your hour, women standing, your hour. Listen, 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 listen. I hear the voice of my grandmother's calling me. I hear the voice of my grandmother's song. She say, give birth, give life, mothers give birth, give life. Listen, 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 listen. I hear the voice of my grandmother's calling me. I hear the voice of my grandmother's song. She say, teach them, be wise, grow and teach them, be wise. Listen, 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 listen. I hear the voice of my grandmother's calling me. I hear the voice of my grandmother's song. She say, wake up, child.
I don't know the words at all, apparently.
Wake up, listen, 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 listen. I hear the voice of my grandmother's calling me. I hear the voice of my grandmother's song. She says, stand in your power, women, stand in your power. Listen, 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 listen. I hear the voice of my grandmother's calling me. I hear the voice of my grandmother's song. She say, give birth, give life, mothers give birth, give life. Listen, 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 listen. I hear the voice of my grandmother's calling me. I hear the voice of my grandmother's song. She say, teach them, be wise, grow and teach them, be wise. Listen, 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 listen. I hear the voice of my grandmother's calling me. I hear the voice of my grandmother's song. She say, wake up, child, wake up, listen, 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 listen. I hear the voice of my grandmother's calling me. I hear the voice of my grandmother's song. She says, stand in your power. my grandmother's song. She say, give birth, give life. Mothers give birth, give life. Listen, 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 listen. I hear the voice of my grandmother's calling me. I hear the voice of my grandmother's song. She say, teach them, be wise. Mothers teach them, be wise. Listen, 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 listen. I hear the voice of my grandmother's calling me. I hear the voice of my grandmother's song. She say, wake up, child, wake up. Listen, 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 listen. I hear the voice of my grandmother's calling me. I hear the voice of my grandmother's song. She says, stand in your power, women, stand in your power. Listen, 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 listen. I hear the voice. I hear the voice. I hear the voice. I hear the voice.
All right, one more. Big Wild. When I get there.
Getting that from YouTube.
Well, that sucks. I hear the voice. I dropped my laptop. Here we go. Rolling with it. It doesn't say ayahuasca, but it does in my head. Wasca! Okay, now let's get into some notes. I could do it now, but it would be so much better if I did it later. I had some booby trap thinking that I had going into this. Years go by and it's never been created, never helped a soul. Put it on wax. Oh, hey, by the way, this is an adult conversation for mature audiences only. If you have an issue with adult language, you should probably turn this video off now. I'm free to drop F-bombs, which I am going to do starting here in just about 2 seconds. Fuck the canvas. There's plenty / infinite canvas. It's not yours. It's not for you. My friend Anissa told to me that I have a moral obligation, that we all have a moral obligation. Probably get my notes. You have a moral obligation to share yourself with the world. That was from my friend Anissa Holmes. My man, my mentor, my main business partner, Cody Bateman says, find out who you are and give yourself away. Same thing, same sentiment. And I 100% wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment, said a million different ways, that being 2 of them. But I can do it now, but it'd be so much better. It'd be such a better piece if I put it out later. Fuck the canvas, fuck the record. It's not yours, it's not for you. Yeah, it could be better if you did it later. Like I started off this video, the commentary section of it and the dancing section of it, not loving it, but put it out there anyways, right? And I've got some notes here that I'm looking at on this screen. I don't know which screen I'm gonna end up using in the video that you're watching right now. So I'm probably looking at you now, or I'm looking at you now. I don't know, but we'll see. I've got notes that I'm looking at over here, and I'll put them in the description box down below. Oh, I also wanted to say, so right now this is just on my YouTube channel. I've only got one blog, and it's for business, mattwells.biz. But I've got shortydoeslife.com. That is not a URL. That has no website right now. But shortydoeslife.com is my own personal blog, or it will be. Please go to shortydoeslife.com. Maybe not tonight because it doesn't exist. But there'll be an opt-in box to get on my email newsletter that I'm creating right now. With as I'm saying this, if you go to shortydoeslife.com and there is a website there, then please sign in to subscribe to my email list, and you'll know when I post new episodes. Right now, that I don't even know where, but that probably points to. Let me check real quick. Yeah, so that goes to my mattwells.biz website. So mattwells.biz is a website with an opt-in box. You can opt in to subscribe. That's to my business stuff where I talk about my gratitude business, working from home, all that good stuff, which is awesome stuff. Check me out. Anyway, the shortydoeslife.com will exist at some point in the not so distant future. So do check out shortydoeslife.com for more on all this stuff. But anyway, back to the show. Yeah, it could be better if I did it later and I've mapped it all out and I didn't do it on a travel day after a week worth of psychedelics and to try to explain, explain what it's like spending a week in Rythmia is just impossible. It's not possible to do because no matter what parts of it that I talk about, it's not even close to the whole picture. The soul connections, the family that I created there, that I reconnected with, I would say, of people that I've never met in this egoic life, this egoic cat that I identify, this individual, ego means separate, this separated individual that I am, this Matt cat, Shorty, has not met before any of these humans that I met last week at Rythmia. But yet, on a soul level, that was definitely not true. I would suggest, per my estimation, we are all individualized expressions of that one imagination. Call it whatever you like, but we say we're made in the image and likeness of God, the imagination. There's an imagization process, there's a creation process. First it was an idea, and here I are. Or a manifestation of that idea. Anyway, we are all one together. That's per my estimation. That's what I believe. I won't, whatever. Anyway, these souls, though, that were at Rythmia this week, this Light Warriors, Light Workers group 230, was a really special group. And many of us have known each other many times before, and that was that's not just some cute hippy dippy shit we were saying there. That yeah. Anyway, what was I saying? I did mention what Anissa had told me. You have a moral obligation to share yourself with the world. Don't be a bitch. Put it out there. And yeah, it could be better. Of course. Biggest room in the world is room for improvement. And start where you're at. Put it out there. Quit being a bitch. All right. So in terms of the 3 intentions that are suggested and offered at Rythmia: show me who I have become, merge me back with my soul at all costs, and heal my heart. Those are the 3 intentions that are recommended at Rythmia, and they're fantastic. Obviously, these guys have put a great deal of thought in that. They've had over 9,000 people come through the door there at Rythmia so far. Oh, by the way, that's really cool to be able to see that, because look, this Rythmia thing and the psychedelics and in general, ayahuasca being probably one of the more mainstream ones, it would seem, is going mainstream. I would suggest the ayahuasca would be the more predominant one. Iboga is one that is really on my radar. I want to do that one. It seems like you're more assured to have that confrontational experience. It's a little bit, and I've not done Iboga yet. I want to, but I also want to go to Rythmia probably once a year. Hopefully, as many of us Light Warriors Group 230, we'll do a reunion tour there once a year, kind of a thing. But either way, many of those souls at 230 will be connecting again in various ways. Anyway, so let's get into this. Some thoughts here. So we don't need to be shown that which we already see. So Jerry's story versus my experience, and maybe why I didn't receive the consult per se. Different medicine too, but with the same aim. Oh yeah, he had done Iboga. So Jerry Powell, I think that's his name. Should have got his book. Where's his book? I listened to Shit the Moon Says on the airplane ride. It's like a 2-hour something minute audio book. Shit the Moon Said, a story of sex, drugs, and ayahuasca by Gerald Arnold Powell. Yep. This book right here, I haven't read the book, but I listened to the audio book on the way back home here to Gulfport this afternoon. Well, on the trip from Liberia to Houston was a 3-hour something trip. The audio book was 2 hours and 22 minutes, I think. So I listened to the whole book on audio tape. And I'm going to listen to it again, especially the chapter on, I think it was chapter 6, on integration, which is the stage where I'm at right now. And it's late, so my energy's kind of low. And, this is part of my problem of, I could do it now, but it'd be better later. When I'm talking about important shit, I put it off until I can create a masterpiece. And then the challenge is years go by and I've not created it whatever it is, that piece, that conversation, that thought that I wanted to share. And then that thought, it didn't land on anybody. It didn't offer anybody a conversation, So we're going with it. Anyway, we don't need to be shown that which we already see. That's something that Gerald Arnold Powell, the author of this book, he's the founder of Rythmia, and his story is absolutely fantastic. Super cool dude. Jerry, if you see this, I love you, brother. This dude is he is a kindred spirit in a lot of ways. Like, I relate to this cat. He is an extreme dude in a lot of ways and such a beautiful soul. But he had an experience. If you don't know this man's story, summarize the points here. But he had what they call a consult, where he had a conversation with, in this case, Iboga. I don't know what he would call it. Well, the moon. Yeah, that's shit the moon said. So I can't confirm or deny whatever, kind of a thing. Figments of imagination or realities. I don't know. Who the fuck am I to say? But he had a conversation with the moon. If you ask him, he'll tell you with a degree of certainty that, whatever. I was going to talk about some religious people, but whatever. The man's got a degree of certainty, and he downloaded some information that was definitely outside of his egoic perspective. That I don't think could be argued or debated. That seems pretty damn obvious when you look into the details of this man's story. Now, where the source of this content was, we could call it God, we could call it the fucking moon, we can call it whatever the fuck we want. But it definitely sounds crazy on the surface at first blush if you're not, I don't know, open-minded. You know, anyway, so he had to, let's just go with the conversation here. He had a conversation with the moon, and the moon told him, revealed to him some things of his past that he did not even, like, he saw it. He was being molested by his grandfather, and that's in his book. I'm not telling anybody's business, you know. And when he was like a young child, a toddler type kid, and to the point where he didn't even recall it. It was suppressed in his memory, kind of a thing or whatever. And so he took some psychedelics, iboga, and the moon, or his soul, really is what it was. So his soul, he connected with his soul. His soul brought him to his grandmother's house, and he saw this to the point where this was really interesting. He said, you know, I can move this way, move that way, and I could see it from different angles, like in 3D, like it was, you know, like they couldn't see him, but he was there, you know, whatever. And he made a comment about how this, you know, everything we're doing is recorded. Now, not recorded. But I don't know if recorded is the proper way of understanding it, as much as the understanding that this is a tough one to wrap our egoic brains around, or at least it's tough for me to wrap my egoic brain around. But I get it conceptually. Time and space are not real. So everything that is, ever was, and ever will be is now. Sorry, say that again. You know what I mean? Right. So like play with that one, right? But anyway, so I don't think it's so much that things are being recorded as much as always are. Now I want to touch on that whole idea of multidimensions and all this. And you ever hear that the conversation about how there's multiple versions of us, you and me sitting in this room right now having this conversation, but there's one, we're wearing a slightly different shirt, or there's just all these multiple different variations, right? And then for infinite whatevers. And so think of it like this stuff, this table that I'm touching right now. If you look at it with the proper lens, let's say with a microscope, if you have a proper perspective on this, it is more not than it is at an atomic level, right? You break it down to atoms, there's just things that are vibrating, and there's more empty space there than there is material, right? Sorry, what? These aren't conversations that I usually have on the interwebs and whatnot. So I feel like I just sound like a fucking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs cat to most of the people that are seeing this, because I probably do. And especially because it's late and I'm just, you know, all over the place. But fuck it, we rolling with it. I have no fucks to give, power, bum bum bum. Anyway, continue. So this idea of multidimensions, I gotta finish this thought now since I started it, and I'm gonna leave this in. Every time you have an idea or you make a decision, because all right, so when I first heard this idea of, well, why would there be another me, another you, if there's all of this whatever? It's another one kind of created, ever expanding universe kind of a thing. There's another, and that's what I think this whole point of this, how we are all creators. And God, this sounds crazy, especially because I know I'm not elaborating well right now, but what world do you want to participate in? What world do you want to live in? Do you want to, that's the world, focus on that one, focus on that, focus on the good things in the world, and you are participate in that world. And we're all here in all of them now, and it's all about from now being created, right? So, and I know I just said something about time being an illusion, and everything that ever is, was, and will be is now, and I'm too all over the place. Let's just get back on the subject here. Really? This is like, I feel like this is like, well, stop. All right. So the idea, though, is back to this. We don't need to be shown that which we already see. In my case, so Jerry told me, he said, you know, something. Having lunch with Jerry, I think yesterday, after the 4 sessions of ayahuasca, we were chatting, and you know, I was thinking, well, maybe I'll get So let me tell you why I went out there, what I was looking for. First of all, to see the sacred geometry stuff, that would have been cool. The cartoons, I call it, that would have been cool, but that's not why I went out there. To have an astrological field trip, that would have been cool, but that's not why I went out there. That out-of-body experience to go around and whatnot. I think that would have been cool. But I feel like I've already got degrees of certainty with that. And I say degrees of certainty because I try not to be confident or cocky or arrogant in my estimations. I have a degree of certainty with things like I know. But I've known these things before I had language for them and all of that. And I don't need any validation and a lot of different of my understandings, let's just say, right? But it would have been cool. Right, to see the sacred geometry, that would have been cool. To take an astrological field trip, that would have been cool. But really why I went out there was just to figure out what my multi-million-dollar question is. So I have a vision for my life over here, and I have my existence of my life. They're not even close. They're not even in the same frame. Ha! Look at that. And to the degree, like I know exactly what I want to do. I know what I want to do. I know how I'm going to make my difference in the world. I know how I'm going to have impact. I know how I'm going to have all the prosperity that I want. I know how I'm going to be the demonstration that I would like to be. I know how I'm going to better breathe life into life. I know how I'm going to have all the things that I want in this world. I know specifically career-wise what I'm going to do. It's multi-level marketing, pyramid games with a company called Greener Still. Really send out cards. Without getting into all of that, send out cards, a 16-year-old company. We launched a new parent company called Greener Still. So now I am partnered with Greener Still, and Send Out Cards is but one of 6 direct sales companies that I have through Greener Still. But prior to Greener Still being launched with 5 sister companies to Send Out Cards, which just happened in February 1st of this year. Prior to that, we were Send Out Cards, a direct sales company, multi-level marketing direct sales company, one of those pyramids. Learn more at mattwells.biz about all of that. But prior to the launch of Greener Still, we were Send Out Cards, a greeting card and gifting company. It's about human connection. I have the answer to what the world needs now. Love, sweet love. Anyway, that's the thing that I am here to do. That's the thing that speaks to me on a soul level. I have my fucking affiliate ID number tattooed on my wrist, for Christ's sake. That's the address. I don't know why I can't show you my wrist. That's so awkward. That's the address. sendoutcards.com/134287 or sendoutcards.com/MattWells. Either way. But, I show you that, and I joke that I didn't just drink the Kool-Aid, bitch. I'm serving it. Anyways. You really are crazy, aren't you? Anyway. Just compose yourself for a second. Regroup, because you're not on track here at all. So, hold on.
Voice of my grandmother's calling me. I hear the voice of my grandmother's song. She say, give breath, give life, mothers, give breath, give life. Listen, 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 listen. I hear the voice of my grandmother's calling.
All right, back to the lecture at hand. Perfection is perfected, so I'm going to let them understand. From a young G's perspective. And before... Okay. All right, let's get back on track here. I really went all over the place. I wanted to finish some of those thoughts, but I'm not even going to bother. Let's just continue on the original agenda of this whole entire video, which is, hey, you're back from Costa Rica. You went and did some psychedelics. How'd it go? Okay. Can we continue with that? So back to my multi-million-dollar question. So the attitude is, I'm a personal development junkie, have been for a long time. Walked on fire with Tony Robbins. If I were in my other office, sounds too little too snooty, but my original office is on the other side of the house, and I have a bookshelf with a whole bunch of books, whatever. If I were on that side, if I were in that office, I would show you all the books and point to them and be like, I've read that shit. You know what I mean? Whatever. Anyway. But at lunch, after having all of the ceremonies over, and at Rythmia, we do 4 nights of ayahuasca. All 4 nights are different variations of ayahuasca. The Ahe or Yahe was the last one, and that's an all-nighter. It's a marathon. Like, it starts at 7:30 p.m. and we got out of there, I think, at 10:30 or maybe close to 11. Yeah, 10 something, 10:30, 10:45. But with a wedding. Hey, First Class Johnny, Avril, congratulations again. I know y'all will see this. They're part of our Group 230 fam. Anyway, but here's something that I sitting there with Gerald Powell, the founder of the place here, at the lunch table. I was real grateful that he sat at our lunch table. And he's out there every day, this dude with all this experience and all this kind of stuff. And he's nobody's guru. He'll tell you, whatever. He's just a normal cat. But he's a cat with a great deal of experience and all this kind of shit. So anyway, I was really grateful that he had sat at our table there. And we were chatting. And, it's like, man, I wanted to get, I thought, well, maybe, maybe I'm suppressing something that I don't recall or whatever, which doesn't seem to stand to reason to me because I don't have any trauma in my youth, kind of a thing. Now, I don't want to tell too many people's stories and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, I could give you details that would suggest like, oh, well, no, bro, you got trauma, whatever. You've had things like humans have all had, but man, too is true that I had all of the. I mean, my mom did a great job at making sure that I felt. I'm loved. And my mom and an entire structure around me as well. My grandparents and all that. But I was loved, cared for, and I have a lot of which one nature versus nurture. There's a lot of things that I feel like I want to just take credit for on a soul level, kind of a thing. Like I came in. As a certain kind of a cat, whatever. And there is truth to that, 100%. And also, too, is true that I had a really great, which, again, I chose on a soul level. You ever heard of the soul agreements concept, whatever. I picked my mom, you know what I mean, before I came in. And she picked me, too. That's how that works. The recap story of my youth was one loved, supported. I'm a very confident person, and that's not by accident. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need any validation from anybody. I really, I'm even only apprehensive about putting the shit out here that I'm putting out here now for a small handful, a very, very small handful of people that are on this planet right now. Everybody else can go fuck themselves as far as I care about your judgment to me. Now, I don't really mean you can go fuck yourself, but your opinion of me can go fuck itself, okay? So back to trying to make sense of, or trying to go there to see what is my issue, because evidently there is a question that I'll answer the question if I could just find out what the fucking question is. What is my problem? Evidently I have a problem. I've had this whole career aspiration for 9 years, specifically with this company, and I was with this profession for years before that, learning it with another company, a health and wellness company, learning what it means to be a network marketing professional, being trained by some of the best in the profession. If you're in the profession, you've been around for a while, names like Randy Gage and Eric Warrior, two names you probably know, and I mention those two because they have very large generic careers. These two men have impact around the world for decades. The ripple effect that they've had will never be known. And I am a disciple of theirs in this profession of network marketing. So I've known for a long time what it means and what it looks like to be a network marketing professional. And yet I've never made my living in network marketing. Right now, in August of 2021, I still have yet to make my living as a network marketing professional. And to tell you some of my story, in March of this year, I made a decision, I think March 10th without looking in my journal, but I believe in March 10th, I made a decision to quit the job that I had been doing for the last 5 years. I moved all the mountains out of the way, I had a little bit of time in the bank, and whatever. I'd been living, so this is my home that I'm in right now. I'm in Gulfport, Mississippi. 9 hours down the road is a town called San Antonio, Texas. I had been working there. A friend of mine owns a construction company, a roofing company, and I told him I would go out there. He was in Dallas, or is in Dallas with his company, and had expanded into San Antonio, and he was needing somebody to take over his San Antonio operations. And I'd never been to San Antonio, never sold roofs before, but I said, I'll come out there and I'll check it out. And I'll give it 3 months. I gave it 3 months commitment in January of 2016. I made a conscious decision to put my dream on the back burner, my send out cards business on the back burner, and try this thing out. And then I would start integrating my send out cards business development into what I was doing in San Antonio, and that would be an expansion market for me as well in my business. So all this will be great. I blinked, let 5 years go by, and I was out there still living in a travel trailer 9 hours from home, and I would only come here from time to time visiting it. You know, I might be gone for some months without even coming home at all. But I think, without thinking about it, I don't know if I slept in this house in my home, which has been my home since, I think I moved in June 25th, 2005. So for something like however many years that is, this has been my home. I love my home. It's not fancy by any stretch. It's a regular old ranch style house, but it's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath bachelor pad that I put together the way I wanted to. This is my comfortable spot, whatever. And I don't think I slept here for more than 14 days consecutively since January 16 up until this Hurricane Zeta happened. So that's when it brought me back. Hurricane Zeta happened. My house needed a roof. I got rental property. My mom's rental property needed a roof. Family members, whatever, needed roofs. So I came back home for a minute just to do some roofs here that were needed to be done. And then I was going to go back to my business that I had developed over the last 5 years there in San Antonio. Came back here, realized, man, I kind of missed living in my home, actually living in my home, not visiting it. And decided I couldn't go back to San Antonio because if I did, then I would blink, let another 5 years go by, and I'm 42 years old right now as I talk to you. 42 years old and having a vision for myself, and I'm not living it. What the fuck is that all about? That doesn't even make any God blessing sense, right? So moved all the mountains out of the way, and evidently I'm not the type of person who's going to do two things at one time. So I quit the job. Made the decision in March, April, May. By May, I am fully out of it because I still had some business to close out and all that kind of stuff, some projects to do, whatever. But by May, I'm out. And I'm fully doing my career, my dream. I'm working on my dream, and I've got a specific plan. I only need to create 67 customers on my most popular plan. It's $97 a month. I won't tell you about whatever, but it's $97 a month. Once I get 67 of those customers that I create, I'm not talking about any of the multi-level stuff, any of my customers creating customers or any of my affiliates creating customers, whatever. None of that, just 67 customers that I create for a product that's dope AF, and I know I can create those 67 customers. Had a couple great days where I was killing it. Everything was going in place, and I've got all the support. I mean, from the killers in the game. I say real, recognize real. I mean, whatever. And the response from the marketplace. When I show off my product, when I talk about my plans and my packages, people say shit like, wow, awesome, that's dope, whatever, I need that, whatever. So I could see how it was all clicking into place, and I was going to surely have my 67 customers before my money ran out, my time ran out in the bank, right? Go up. I got a really finite number, to work with here, kind of a thing. And I took, well, and then, anyway, so but I immediately quit. Like I started sabotaging it and not showing up for the things I was supposed to show up for, and not accepting the success. And it doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. I don't understand what was that about. So I figured, all right, well, this is not something that I'm doing consciously, that I'm addressing. I'm not handling this, whatever the fuck this problem is. I ain't put my finger on it yet, and if I can't even put my finger on it, then I can't fucking fix it. I can't address that which I can't identify, right? So I'm like, all right, well, let's look into the psychedelic stuff and let's figure this out. So that's how I got out there and went to do ayahuasca, and Rythmia seemed to be the place to do it. So that is what got me out there. That's my multi-million-dollar question. Is what is my deal? Why am I not showing up? Why am I not accepting? And that's the key, accepting. Why am I not accepting this vision that I have for myself? And the closer that I can see, I could taste it. It was right. It's right there. And it is right there now. And it is coming. And watch what the fuck I tell you. I'm back from this Rythmia trip, and just watch what I tell you within a short period of time here. Just give me a minute. Just give me some time. That's all I'm going to say. Just give me some time. Anyway, the worthiness stuff was something that I was willing to look at, though. You know, listening to Randy Gage, he talks about a lot of prosperity and what prosperity is. It's all encompassing. It's not just about money, but the worthiness thing. I really don't think like there's anything there that I have any worthiness issues. Now, I'm not saying I'm not human and I don't have a whole bunch, you know, human shit too, but by and large, I feel mighty blessed, worthy of my desires. I understand what, you know, this is, you know, logical thinking kind of stuff here, conceptual, you know, logical thinking and, you know, whatever, emotional is not quite the same, but the word desire resonates with me. Day of, it's used in the Spanish language today, Cinco de Mayo, so day, desire, and then sire, majesty, of the father, of the sire, of your higher power, whatever kind of thing. So the idea of when you have a desire in your heart, it's already been created and given to you. It is only up to you now to allow it, accept it. So here in Jerry's story, and all the sabotage he was running and all that, and then he did some psychedelics, iboga, not ayahuasca, which is important to note, especially if you're hearing his story and you're looking at going to Rythmia, just, you know, whatever. But he did some natural plant medicines. And he was revealed something that he wasn't even consciously aware of. That he was so traumatic for him that he suppressed it. Now, I don't think there's anything traumatic to any degree like that I have not been willing to process and see and understand. And I'm a real big believer in Don Miguel Ruiz's 4 agreements thing. One of them are, nothing anybody does is about you, you know, sweetheart, you know, just get over that, you know, everybody is doing the best that they can with who and what they are, with their degree of emotional strength or abilities, you know, kind of a thing. And everything that anybody does is about them, not about you. Understanding that is very liberating and very powerful to understand. So I've got all that understanding as well. No victim in my story. I'm willing to call myself out on anything. Again, I really give 2 shits about anybody's opinion of me. I just don't. And I'm willing to look at myself objectively. And that is what allows me to there's other versions of me that could have been, and then maybe that multi-dimension thing that I touched on and didn't elaborate on well at all. But I would speculate that there's other versions of me that are quite degenerate. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I could see potentialities that are inside of me, that have been, I'll say, inside of me, that I could have gone down some very interesting roads if there were a couple booby traps, victim mentality. If there was a victim anywhere in my story, I think that could have opened up the door to a lot of self-sabotage bullshit that who knows how it would have shown up, but that, you know, whatever. Just whatever. You know, this is like, all right, so shit, we can be in real in this whole fucking thing anyways now. So I'll never say that I am an alcoholic or that I, you know, whatever. But I would be delusional not to acknowledge, and I've acknowledged this a long time ago, which is why I am able to have alcohol in my house to have alcohol in my house and not, you know, whatever, and not need. I mean, there's beer in my fridge right now, and I can't even touch it for 2 weeks. Not that I'm a big beer person, anyways, but more of a whiskey guy. But there's been beer. That beer's been in my fridge for a little while now, I think, anyways. But I'm not a big drinker really per se, but I can't drink alcohol now for 2 weeks. I mean, and that's not even a big deal. But fuck, what was I saying? Oh, there's I have tendencies, you know what I mean? But the reason why I'm able to have alcohol in the house and whatnot, which there was a time in my younger days that I don't know if that there, you know, there was another version of me that could have been created, that I could have been, that would have no self-control around stuff like that. And that's so the idea is that the self-awareness thing, I'm not scared to look at myself. I'm not scared to, because I think it's empowering. I'm able to check myself before I really wreck myself. Because negative thoughts are bad for your health. Anyway, That's a song, probably. Anyway, in case you don't know, now you know. So I didn't think that there was much something there, but that I'd suppressed and not been willing to see, therefore process, therefore release, whatever. And so let me tell you this: I'm at my getting back to the lunch with Jerry, sitting at the lunch table there after the sessions and all that. One of the things that he had told me was, talking about, hey, he had this revelation that the medicine had shown him this stuff. Like, oh shit, that didn't happen, did it? Because that was the first thing he said when he saw his grandfather molest him. He's like, that didn't happen, and then, he got validation that it did. But Jerry told me at the lunch table there, he says, we don't need to be shown that which we already see, and that we don't need to see. We're only shown what we need to see, kind of a thing. So let me go back to how was it? My psychedelic experience, I didn't have what I call the astrological field trip, which just would have been fun. I did not see any of the sacred geometry on my trips, which again, just would have been fun. Which, cute note on that, I was like, I didn't see any of this stuff. Maybe tomorrow, each night. I'm like, I didn't see any of that. I didn't go out of space or nothing. Maybe tomorrow. And one of the days I was in there in the bathroom purging, because there was some purging for sure. I mean, I definitely released some shit. Anyway. But anyway, I was in the bathroom there, and at Rythmia, they have pictures of sacred geometry, art pieces. In the bathrooms and, different places around the grounds there, but one in the bathrooms. And anyways, I think this is the last night, I just kind of thought, oh, well, shit, I guess I'm not going to see any of that sacred geometry shit. That would have been cool. And then I look up in the bathroom wall across from the toilet, where you were facing, there was one of those beautiful art pieces with a beautiful piece of sacred geometry. And I just kind of laughed, and it's like, the lesson is, I did get the consult. The consult came to me by way of not a third-person persona, this Mother Ayahuasca character. Just by way of all my consults come to me by ideas. Where do ideas come from? Well, you decide. And they're easy. There's a barometer for that, by the way. Let me just throw this as a side note. Your ideas, there's a way to tell if your ideas come from you from your egoic self, your separated self, or if they come from you from on high, let's say, whatever, a higher perspective. How does that thought feel? Is it a thought filled with lack, scarcity, guilt, worry, whatever, any of these negative things that are sinful thoughts? The word sin just simply means to miss the mark, and it's used in the sport of archery accurately still today. A sin shot is a shot that does not hit its mark, the bullseye, let's say, right? That's what a sin is. A sin is just a missing of the mark. Now, the best label or understanding, or the way that I can communicate my understanding of the mark, is pure positive joy. So any thought or idea that you have, that you hold, that that you're thinking in your mind that limits your experience of pure positive joy is a sinful thought that is missing that mark. Okay? So that's my understanding of that, whatever, blah, blah. That was a side tangent. What was I talking about? What was I talking about? Oh, I know what I was saying. How to gauge if a thought comes to you from your egoic self, separated self, or your higher self, or whatever. If the thought is a sinful thought, filled with angst, scarcity, fear, whatever, that's not coming to you from your God self or from God. That's not given to you. That's some shit we made up in our separated perspective. You know what I mean? Coming from that. I can die. I'm not enough. Blah, blah, blah. What if they judge me? There's another person here to judge me. All that, whatever. So there's a way to judge the thoughts. Where do ideas from? Okay, that's what it was. So sitting there in the bathroom doing the purge, and I saw the sacred geometry piece of art. I kind of laughed a little bit because I was like, you want to see sacred geometry? Open your eyes, motherfucker. It's right there. You see it. See it? It's right there. And I just kind of laughed. That wasn't the thing that I was there for. But at the same time, I think that was also, maybe I'm making all this up, but fuck you. It serves me, right? That same idea is the whole point of, okay, so I didn't go there still now I'm on the other side. I spent 7 days at Rythmia. I'm home now, and I still can't say, oh, this is my $1 million problem. This is the reason I've not been accepting this, blah, blah, blah. I honestly can't say what that problem was. What was my issue that was making me hold myself back and not accept and not allow. But I can tell you that, because I had nadas, or at least I slept. The first night, I think I just slept. And I actually talked to the shaman about it, and he said, yeah, you were snoring. You slept. I mean, he didn't say, yeah, you were snoring, but I mean, I was snoring. And he said, yeah, he said, you weren't sleeping the whole time, kind of a thing. I was kind of in and out. So I guess you can drink ayahuasca and literally just fall asleep if you're tired. So that was kind of a bummer. I was like, oh, well, shit. I didn't, I thought maybe it was a nada, they call it. A nada is like, there's 4 types of ayahuasca trips, let's call it, journeys, whatever. And one of them is a pinta, that's the visuals, that's the sacred geometry shit I was talking about. One of them is the consult, where you have a conversation with a persona that, you have a conversation with something, right? Now, I won't get into my thoughts on that, my speculative thoughts on that, because I didn't have a consult, so I can't speak from experience with that. But I can tell you that it seems that all the accounts that I've heard from people who did have consults, this Mother Ayahuasca character seems to be talking to them in their language, as them. One of the guys there, said, hey, shut up, Mama's cooking. You know what I mean? And that's how this Mother Ayahuasca character spoke to him. And that's his persona. So, just whatever, just different people, you can hear that person's personality in this Mother Ayahuasca character. Now, I don't have an opinion on that, because I didn't meet the bitch. But when I say bitch, you got to understand how I say it. I'm not saying it in any kind of negative way. But, so anyway, though, here's the point with the whole, again, sitting on the purge, looking up, say, oh, there it is, whatever. And I didn't necessarily, can't tell you this particular thing, that whatever my problem was, but I can tell you with for sure certainty that I purged energetically in just so many ways that I know that there is something lighter in me. I physically feel, now, of course, if you're doubtful for all this and this, whatever, whatever. I'm not here to convince anything. I'm just telling you my shit. You know what I mean? Whatever. So, but I know that there's something different in me. There's something released in me. And I think I did have a nada, by the way, that last day. The last day I was really disappointed too, because there was 3 calls for ayahuasca scheduled on the agenda, and I was only there for 2 of them. I thought we were getting the 3rd one still, as the sun was coming up and whatnot, and it turns out, like, so we did all 3? Did we call them? Like, yeah. So I only saw 2 of them. I think I was in a nada at that point. And friend Chelsea was going around as we were sitting outside the Maloka waiting to get in there. I don't know, I'm going to say tarot cards for lack of understanding. She had some fucking cards of some kind, and hey, pull one just for fun, we'd do whatever. So I pulled one, and it was the ancestor card. And the ancestor stuff is the nada. So if you get a nada, then if you do a nada, or if you have a nada trip, you just sleep. And the idea, what they talk about, the way they describe the nada is, it's not your egoic, like, it's not Matthew, Sean, Shorty, Wells. It's not my shit to address, essentially, is the idea of the concept, that the way they describe the nada stuff. It's 7 generations past, or previous to you, prior to you coming in. It's their shit, essentially, and the shit you get honest, like, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not an alcoholic, but there's a version of me that could have been, you know what I mean? If I, whatever, and I get it honest, whatever. So the idea is this nada, if that is what I had that last day, which I'm certainly of the opinion that that's what it is, and I can't say to either way, but feels like it, right? And I don't know, again, whatever. But I had pulled her ancestor card, prior to going in that night. I slept through. I missed the second one. because at one point, I woke up, I just snapped up, woke up like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? There's a line for the second cup, I thought, for the second cup of ayahuasca. Like, oh shit, I immediately threw my legs up, I rolled up, I got up. That's how I used the momentum thing. So I don't have to get up, just did that, bounced up real quick, jumped in line, cool, got my second cup, got my cup, and then I stayed awake from that point on, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I fell back asleep or anything from that point. So I was awake from that point. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was. I don't know. A lot of blurry stuff there, 4 nights. But it would appear that I had a nod of that last night. I missed the second calling, got the third calling, thought it was the second, a cup of tea. And it seems as though I have addressed on a soul level whatever the shit my problem was. And that's kind of the same. It's just, I don't know. Yeah. So did I get my miracle? I would have to say yes. I don't know if I am in love with the language of, did you get, the singular thing, my miracle. And it's a thing that you're looking for, whatever, to answer whatever the issue is that you're looking to answer, kind of a thing. And there's miracles every day, just let me count them, whatever. But yeah, I think I did. Let's continue on with my notes here. Merge back with my soul. My thought was maybe I've never been disconnected, or possibly if I were, maybe I merged back long ago, if ever disconnected. Language commonly used among the students of the plant medicine. Oh, I don't even know what my thought was on that. Heal my heart, ? That's got a built-in presupposition that I'm not sure is applicable to this egoic self, to me, to this guy, who whatever I needed to clear out, I feel certain it's been cleared. It is still unidentified to me consciously, and maybe that's because it's not truly mine nor important to my now. Oh, and that was on the note too. So it was like the second night maybe. I had puked into my purge bucket early in the game. Like, I had 4 cups that night, and on the first cup, while other people were still in line to get there were 60 people in our group, and I went into the bathroom and I purged in there into my bucket, and then I walked out of the bathroom and I stopped at one of the shamans there, and I was like, look, because the idea is there's encouragement to keep your bucket, and then you can look. It sounds ridiculous, especially to people outside of this whole stuff, whatever, but I can see the value in it, and it does make sense. Bear with me. If I ain't lost you yet, there's value in keeping the purge bucket, and then you can look at it, and it will do. And I've heard people giving accounts of that happening to them, whatever too. And on the YouTube videos, like I said, I got 67 YouTube videos in a playlist, and that was part of the idea of why I was wanting to do this as well, to add my 2 cents to the conversation, if it adds any value to anybody else who's considering doing an ayahuasca or a plant medicine kind of a thing. But anyway, they encourage you to keep your purge bucket, because it might tell you something. Like, you can look at it and ask it, what are you, whatever. So anyway, though, I walked out of the bathroom with early in the night. This is the first cup of tea. And I was like, look, I just purged in the bucket here, but it's so early in the night. Can I get another bucket? And she was like, yes, no problem. I'll get you another bucket, but I encourage you to keep that, because you can look at it later as you get tripping or whatever, and you can ask it what it was or whatever. I'm like, all right, bet, cool. So I put my bucket over by my bed. She brought me another one. And I thought about it afterwards, but I never looked at the bucket and asked it what it was, because I didn't give a shit. Because whatever it was, my attitude is, A, it's obviously not mine now if I just purged it. But B, I have this whole thing about how I don't live in the past anyways. And this is a thing that so many people who have traumas in their past, why they're so goddamn in love with it. Why do they keep it with them in their now? Listen, it is a constant, never-ending now. That's all we are ever in. We experience now. Not that, this do. What is the thing from the Bible? This do in remembrance of me. This. It's always this. It's never that. It's never that. It's this. This do in remembrance of me. Now, what is the of me? I won't get into all that, but let's just say your truth, what you really are. I am is the way and the truth and the life. That wasn't about the carpenter. He wasn't saying that he is the, he said all these things I've done, you too can do and more. I am not that which you are not. Anyway, am I really touching that shit? Anyway. I hear the voice of... Oh, it went off. If you have the volume too low, the radio kicks off. That's not cool, but it does. So I need to turn it up just a little bit. So, whatever was in the bucket, whatever was my problem, I don't live in the past. I don't know why some people feel the need to keep their past in their now. Drop that shit. Release it. So, did I get what I came there for? Yeah, I believe I did. I suppose only time will actually tell, because I went there for a specific reason, to get out of my own way. There was something in my way that I could not identify, I couldn't address. I feel with a great deal of certainty. Now, I'll disclose at this early stage in the game, again, I just got home today, and I do come off of a new book, a personal development seminar, with a sense of hope and encouragement that this is the thing, whatever, I'm about to kill it now, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And there is always a progression. There's always a leveling up of some kind of a way, whether it is the where I'm trying to get to or not, it's always, but there is, whatever. So maybe it's just that. Maybe I'm just feeling good for all the love and the family that I just created and the great experience that I had eating great foods and doing the yoga and breathing and all that breath work shit at Rythmia. I went into that with no expectations, just, I don't want to say just whatever. I'm like, whatever. I'm here for the tea. You know what I mean? I'm here to drink the tea. I want the DMT. I want the ayahuasca. And the first thing that we did, I got there Sunday, and that Sunday evening, they had a breathwork class. And out of that, man, I was vibing. Like, literally, I was vibing. I was sweat, fucking like a son of a gun. And just vibing. There was something going on in me that was impressive. But anyways, yeah, I would have to say yes. Thinking out of it right now with all of the shit that I've been talking on this video, I would have to say, yeah, I believe I did get my miracle, the specific thing that I went there for. I mean, I got many, many miracles, but the thing that I went there for, my $1 million question that I couldn't identify, yeah, I think I did. And I honestly don't know what it was still, but I think it was none of my business. And either way, it is truly none of my concern because it's not with me now. So, yeah. All right, let me look at my notes. I think that's whatever needed to be cleared out. I felt certain it's been cleared. It's still not unidentified consciously. It's still unidentified consciously to me. And maybe that's because it's not truly mine nor important to my now. No victim in my story or energy. Naturally and from nature, I've encountered my whole life. I've always known I am loved. Thanks, Ma. Don's 4 agreements. Oh, I touched on that without even looking back at my notes. Worthy of my desires, of fucking course. Always felt /known that. Then why would I not accept / allow it? Great question. That's been my multi-million-dollar question. I've had and been unable to answer. That's why I journeyed to ayahuasca. While still I don't have a event, feeling, understanding of what exactly my problem's been, past tense, I feel like I want to say I am surely free of it now. Whatever the fuck it was. Part of me understands it's kind of none of my business or important to me in any way. I live now anyway, not then. I just said all of that. So I could do it better. I could do it now, but it'd be better if I did it later. Booby trap. I started with that. Yeah, so that's my experience with ayahuasca. And at Rythmia, well, I hadn't told you really much about my experience with Rythmia. And I haven't done the TripAdvisor thing yet, but I'm going to do a TripAdvisor review. 5 stars. 5 stars all the way. Listen, if you want to explore this stuff, look at the Psychedelics Revealed documentary series, psychedelicsrevealed.com. I haven't watched it all yet. It was being launched while I was there at Rythmia. I did get to see some glimpses of the interviews while I was doing my Dead Sea cleanse I was watching. That's an easier word than it's a colonics. I did 2 of those, and I'll tell you, I was excited about the benefits and the value in that, but I was not excited about the process. Process wasn't as, it was awkward the first time for sure. Second time was a little better because at least I had some understanding of what to expect, but just the whole idea of sticking a hose up your butt and, that's weird. But I did it. You can look good or you can get better. You can be comfortable, you can get better, growing pains, whatever. And it wasn't painful, it was just awkward, just weird, unique, kind of a thing. Anyway, while doing the Dead Sea cleanse, I watched Michael Bernard Beckwith's because it was on day 2. Episode 1 was already gone. I did watch the first interview of episode 1, which was a Marine fella or CB or a military cat of some kind. I watched his entire interview. The second interview in episode 1 is Jerry Powell, the man who wrote this book, who I had lunch with the other day. He is the second interview in this episode 1 of Psychedelics Revealed. It's a 9-part series. Episode 1 was 3 hours. I think episode 2 was like 3 hours as well. I haven't watched all of that yet. I'm excited to, though. I'm going to purchase it so that I can watch it at my leisure. But it's being released right now. As I'm recording this, August 1st, I think they're on episode 5 or episode 6. So I'll catch a couple of these other ones as they're coming out here this week. As I can. This is gonna be a crazy week back at home. I've got a million things to do, including building my business. I got work to do, like no bullshit. I got work to do, and I also got a lot of other personal things to address as well. I'm gonna pick up my pickup truck. My truck's been in the shop, so I can sell my other pickup truck because that's gonna give me a little bit more time in the bank because I definitely need. I just dropped $7,000 out of my time in the bank. Out of my reserves. I just took $7,000 out to go to Costa Rica to go do this ayahuasca stuff. And that's got me with a little bit of angst there for sure. And I was, finite amount of money I'm working with here. So I've got 2 pickup trucks though, both paid for. One I'm going to get, so just cheap little trucks, nothing big dollar stuff. But one of them I'm getting out of the shop, hopefully tomorrow, and I'll put the other one up for sale. So I got some shit like that to handle and just a bunch of other personal stuff, but some work to do. What am I getting at? Anything else to say? Man, I'm surely rambled on enough. Rambled on a good bit. Hey, if you actually fucking watch this whole thing, namaste. I appreciate the shit out of you. And evidently there's, I would suggest there's probably something there for you in the plants. If you're watching all of this entire thing, Rythmia is the place that I recommend, and ayahuasca is the one that I would recommend too. I know I've said, hey, I want to do iboga or whatever, iboga, and then there's another word. These are all new words to me. Something is from a cactus. I think it's a form of iboga, or maybe iboga is from a cactus too. I'm new to learning much about the various plant medicines. DMT I've been aware of since the DMT spirit molecule. But Joe Rogan came out whatever that was. I saw that back when it came out, and this shit's been on my radar since then. And that's pretty cool too, because that DMT DMT spirit molecule that Joe Rogan hosted, that documentary show whatever has been responsible for bringing awareness to a lot of people, and I am one of them. So appreciate to the filmmaker, whoever made that film. But yeah, anyway, I do recommend highly. I mean, I can't even look the staff. Let me just, in case any of the staff people from Rythmia see this, let me thank you again. And I feel like I can't overstate it how amazing, truly amazing the staff at Rythmia is. Everybody there. I don't care what role they're playing to cleaning up the dishes. Stephanie, I love you. I appreciate you. Satya. Oh, if Satya, if you see this, I can't even, you know. So many people. The shamans that are there. Wow. Yeah. Wow. You know what's funny too is that like Sarah and Brad. If y'all are married, by the way, I didn't have many words with them. If y'all are married, talk about a power couple. Bella, in an interview. Oh, I interviewed 3 friends there right by the pool last night, Saturday night. And those will come out on go to shortydoeslife.com and subscribe, and you'll get the episodes when they come out. But I've interviewed 3 friends there, and one of the friends though, Bella, she had mentioned that Brad and Sarah, these are 2 shaman. So there's 4 nights that you do a ceremony with the ayahuasca, and there's a different shaman running the show each night. First night, and I don't know if the schedule is always the same way, but first night we had a dude named Chris. He was awesome. I loved him. He was the one that I slept through some of his stuff. I didn't miss any of the tea. I think I had 4 cups that night with him. I haven't looked back through my notes. I had 4 cups of tea with him. The first night, slept through a lot of it. I don't think it was a nada. Second night, though, was Brad. Brad was, I mean, every one of them was awesome. Genuinely, man, the love and themselves that they put into this thing is just absolutely next level kind of thing. And then the second night, and then Sarah was there with Brad as kind of like the right hand man, shaman kind of a thing. And then the next night, they call it ladies' night, and there's a real feminine energy and whatnot. But the actual lead shaman is a woman. It's Sarah, who was the right hand man to Brad the night before, and then Brad, who was the lead shaman the night previously, is the right hand man to Sarah. Bella was saying those two are married, and if they are, I mean, like I said, talk about a power couple. But and then the last night, the Colombians are coming, like from out of the woods. They say it's like a 3-hour boat ride. I want to say Mitra, if I've got that name wrong, but he's actually got a book out there. He's a really big deal. The shaman who did the final night, the marathon one with the Yahweh. See, I don't know. You don't have to be an expert in all this shit to experience it. You don't have to know how gravity works to have it work for you, whatever. I was going to say, with Sarah, I didn't have many conversations with any of the shaman, but I feel like I really know and connected with all of them, especially Sarah, though. Sarah, if you see this, you shared laughs with me, and I feel like we didn't have a lot of words per se, but I know it's a real recognized real. Namaste. That's what I'm saying. Namaste. So, the crew there, everybody there at Rythmia is absolutely amazing, and it would appear from all the research that I've done thus far that if you are interested in doing plant medicine, ayahuasca would be the one to do. And then if you want to go further, you can look at doing some of the ibogas or whatever kind of a thing. But it would seem advisable. I do want to say this. I don't necessarily suggest that everybody should do it. And there are some people that they say should not do it. I'm not going to, do your own homework, figure that out for yourself. I will say though, I highly recommend I don't care who you are or where you're at in your life, to look into it and then listen to yourself, because this shit's got power that I can't explain, that is quite impressive. And do yourself a favor, look into it. Watch that Psychedelics Revealed documentary series. What I've seen of it so far, there's a lot of people from Rythmia in that series actually there as well. So anyway, I've rambled on enough. If you've watched this, I appreciate the shit out of you. Subscribe to shortydoeslife.com, which again, as I say this, doesn't exist. If you go tonight or today, whenever I see this, which I still haven't chopped it down. I don't even know what time it is now. 2:20 a.m. How about that? I'll start editing this down and we'll see when I post it. But if you go to shortydoeslife.com, and it is actually mattwells.biz, which you'll know, it says, howdy friends, welcome to a new website, mattwells.biz. And it talks about all my brands and my businesses. Subscribe to that too. But come back later to shortydoeslife.com, because at some point, I don't know, maybe this week, maybe next week, I don't know, I gotta sit down and do it. This is my first week back, got a lot to do. I'll develop a personal blog. This is something that was part of that whole tomorrow thing, putting off shit. I've got a vision for how I'm gonna live, and I'm gonna put that off. Oh, TM, I'm trained in transcendental meditation from years ago, and I don't practice it. I don't work out. I don't do anything deliberately. I don't do any of the things that I'm gonna do when I grow up. You know what I mean? But starting tomorrow, I'll do a TM tonight actually. Before I go to bed, I'll do a 20-minute transcendental meditation, and I'll do one in the morning, and I'll do my little routine. I've got a routine from the Miracle Morning or Morning Miracle, the Hal Elrod book. I developed a DMO, a daily method of operation, a morning miracle routine, and I've not been disciplined. An undisciplined life. What did I say? Doesn't matter. Whatever. Hey, good night. Appreciate you tuning in. I love the shit out of you. If you watch this, look into it. Do your homework and see if you think it's right for you. I would suggest it probably is. Love you. Bye.